You all right?
Oh, geez, you just turned up as I've gone live. And
Hello.
that's the introduction, by the way, everyone. I literally hit go live as you
Hi.
did that. Yep. Have you had daylight savings?
Timing is everything, folks. Yes, I am.
That explains why, yeah, okay. I don't have mine
I asked.
till I believe either this weekend or next weekend. I can't remember which. Good evening, everyone, by the way.
Mm.
Welcome to another edition of Moisky Live. As you can tell from the minor changes to the set, because Penny was not able to do as much because of work. There was a hazard thing, but it turns out there was a minor problem. Couldn't overlay the avatars with the hazard labels everywhere. So the best you get are 2 toxic signs and some bat soup on the desk. Welcome to Political Recap Stream with myself, Omegon, and Trups LP. Say hello, Trups LP.
Hello, Trups LP.
Is Trups LP dead yet? Would you like some soup?
No. Oh, yes, please and thank you.
It does look nice, doesn't it?
It does. It does actually. And did you see the avatars that I had sent you?
Yeah, I would have included that, but the set, I can't include it on the set, sadly.
Right.
They look fantastic, though. I might ask my avatar artist just to put a gas mask on mine somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I just, although someone might just say if I did that, it makes me look even more like a nude or something. I don't want that.
Oh, what?
Ood, Doctor Who. Tentacles, brain in one hand, comes out of a tube from its mouth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird. Anyway, as you can obviously tell, we are all gonna die because the Heineken virus, that's the beer I'm gonna go with for the moment before I decide to change my mind like that, and it becomes Pabst Blue Ribbon virus, and then Foster's virus.
You can make it Miller High Life.
Let's go with that.
I'm drinking it right now, so.
Is it pretty bad?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, congratulations. I should have bought some beer today. When I found it... Okay, so... as many know, I said it on the Twitch stream earlier, I'm a very selfish creature in the sense that I like working. I like that I'm in charge of my work. I like that the buck stops at me. I like that I'm able to do things because of the work I do. What I don't like is when the majority of my work away from this computer is taken from me and suspended until the government decides to relax restrictions on things like pubs, clubs, restaurants, and other such places. The only job I have yet to lose, it's the only one I have left actually, but it's not worth that much money to begin with, is the bakery in my town. And that's great, but at the same time, I can't claim the subsidy that the government is offering. I can't, even though I declare my income, I can't do it because I have to. It's just very weird. They don't actually help self-employed people, which means I have to rely on YouTube, which I don't want to do.
So you guys have a
It puts me in a
unemployment?
sorry?
You guys have a form of unemployment?
We do have job seekers, but I won't go near it. I spent 7
Okay.
years unemployed. I, on principle, will never go near it again if I can avoid it. Which is why I don't want to rely on YouTube. Because I do okay. I do all right. But I never wanted it to be that priority income. You know, the primary, income. And
Right.
now I just found out my gym is shutting, which is inconvenient. The only backup to that is they're doing online classes. So I could participate in those.
I cast you away with
Corona.
Oh man, do you remember
The
remember
beer,
the
not the
90s
virus,
like Hybo?
not the virus. Thank you, Corona, for the donations. Very kind of you.
I didn't notice.
It's very frustrating, I will say, that they think these restrictions will actually... Social distancing does not work.
It partially works, but the problem is you need to make sure that all of the people are game with that idea.
Yeah.
Like what we had in America, we're kind of jumping the gun here a little bit, but we had a bunch of public
Sure,
places
like
closed down, and then a bunch of Floridians and spring breakers flocked to the beaches because nobody's there.
Carry on talking. I just realised I might be causing an echo, so I'm going to quickly change audio.
Ah,
There we go.
yes.
Sorry, chat.
Hello.
I had to put headphones on. I forgot. So
Oh,
we have
right.
a similar issue with London. There's 8 million people there or something. It's a very dense area. They're not going to stay indoors. That's why people said they need to. No. And Heineken donated $5 to you. Why doesn't anyone have me? Love me, sorry.
Actually, I do love Heineken. I just don't currently own any right now. But
No.
thank you, Heineken, for the $5.
Yeah, it's very generous of you. I've it's very tricky because initially I was led to believe that this would only be 2 weeks, and I thought I can manage 2 weeks. I can manage 2 weeks of of trying to find ways to stay occupied, because say the bakery stays open, which I think is likely. Let's say because they're taking every precaution they can. They've introduced queues just to make sure people don't stack up in the shop. You know, it's not a very big shop to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
They're genuinely trying the hardest. And it's an independent business. Many independent businesses are worried they're going to go under. So the government has obviously introduced some fiscal rules. However, some of them are a bit... So to give people almost like a severance package, which is... Oh, excuse me. I'm all for helping people. I really am. But that's not going to help the business as well, is it? No, it's very weird and tricky. And... I'm actually somewhat surprised that more people... I haven't seen it as much. Well, I've seen some. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, this is all China's fault. It's all China's fault. They should damn well apologise."
I mean, is it not?
I'm not saying that it's not. The blaming part doesn't help. It's not even cathartic at that point. It's just, can we just get a cure, please? Can you guys just hurry up and find one? Because I'm getting bored already.
Hey, man, look, we're trying our best. We got to keep all the people in their own houses, though. Apparently.
How are you going to do that?
But, okay, so California had a bit of an authoritarian approach. Everyone was ordered to shelter in place.
Lol.
Everyone.
How's that work?
Isn't that a genius? Well, I don't know.
I saw a bunch of articles say that this was going to speed up the Amazonian conquering of the world. And I thought, well, if anything, this just encourages more to do online shopping, yes, but it doesn't necessarily mean Amazon. But I get the argument. It's just not what I care for.
Well, it's interesting. Out of all the stocks that have been maintaining a little bit of upwards trends, Amazon has been okay.
I doubt they'll ever suffer, to be honest.
Right. But no, the issue the differences rather between places like China and places like America are that we have a much more taken to heart opinion of freedom than they do.
Right.
We firmly believe that every person is their own master. And so the idea that, okay, well, shelter in place and don't come out until we say so. Yeah, I'm sorry. Who the fuck are you?
Perhaps instead of us just airing gripes on this, we should go back a little and explain what's been going on over the last couple of weeks, because this hasn't really been taken as seriously as it should have been until very recently in the UK. But then, to be fair, we didn't have to. The cases were not as known. There weren't as many of them. We certainly don't have anywhere near as many deaths as most of the countries. It's just, it wasn't. But then we did, when it was announced, made very widely known. It was very interesting that we did immediately pounce on being on par level-wise with rules. The only thing we didn't was the rules about income that people will lose. But we have offered something. I'm not sure how long that can last, though.
So what has the UK been doing about this?
So the government initially offered 350 billion in loans, 330 billion in loans, 20 billion for other things related. That was to incentivize companies to continue the market, keep things going, as it were. and that project, that the idea was then so people would get their sick pay, and that would make it a little bit easier. But sick pay, £92 or something like that. Some people can live on that. I can. It's certainly not. It's not a bad amount of money to come in, but no. No. And so they announced today something else. I have the source. Where is it? The social distancing. Oh yes. So because of the pressure from unions, from other opposite parties and such, they've instead agreed to pay 80% of salary for staff who are kept on by their employer, which will cover up to $2,500 a month in wages. Which is great, I guess, But then, how long can you actually do that for? Because this is something, and Skog, you mentioned in the chat, a month. I was watching Boris's speech before I streamed Plague Inc., where I unsuccessfully managed to use a fungus 5 times now. I came so close, though. I really did.
Funguses are a bitch.
Yeah,
I just want to point that out.
Greenland. It was Greenland. It screwed me.
Yeah, the only way I can ever get it to work is if I get everywhere else and then I use the last fungus pop ability.
Yeah, the spore. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the last thing I have to do, and then I can hit it.
I'm learning, so I've been learning on live streams. So
that's okay.
I don't mind actually, but anyway, yes. So, the idea is here to do that, and then Boris in his speech said that in a month we will review the rules and see about relaxing it. The problem for me is I go for a walk every day. I really don't want to stop going for a daily walk. If I can't go to the gym, I need to do something. I can't rely on being in the house. I've got 3 nieces here and my 2 sisters. I can't do anything around them. It's just impossible. And it sounds selfish. It is selfish, yes, because I need to function to actually to get things out of my system, like energy. But yeah, the Chancellor's, he said that pubs, restaurants, gyms, basically hospitality for the most part, all of it, is to shut down now. Now, the wage subsidy that has been referenced here is where bosses have already had to lay off workers. So it doesn't really, and it only works as long as they're brought back into the workforce and instead granted a leave of absence. So that doesn't really cover everyone anyway. It's just it sounds like it, but actually only covers a specific type of people, which means others only get sick pay. Some people can rely on savings. I now have to do something. I have to adjust sensibly. I was going to pay.
I wish I could live off savings.
Yeah, I wish I could too, actually. I was going to do something very sensible. I was going to pay my taxes at the turn of April. Right? I was going to do that because I thought if I got it out of the way, done. I can just enjoy the next year and do it. No, I have to push it back. I'm going to have to use what I get for AdSense next week. Instead of paying my taxes, I'm going to have to keep hold of it and use it to help out more because people are panic buying still, and it's really fucking doing my head in. Because it's actually crept into my town now, and people have had to be, treated a certain way to go in and out or be allowed into a shop, But the belief is that
similar problem.
Yeah. Yesterday when this was sort of being rumoured, there was a spike in the market for a moment, which is great. Obviously, the financial sector in this country is incredibly important. We need it to keep growing, and a recession is coming, so we definitely need it to start growing sooner or later, to be honest. The little bat is cute, right? I know, but it's edible. And I have a cat at my window. I do apologise. Carry on. Sorry.
Meow. He was talking, and now I have to talk.
Sorry. Meow. Meow. Meow.
Look at this aggressive cat. He wants the bat soup, Meg. Give him the soup. Sorry.
You misgendered that cat. How dare you, fascist.
That's why it's angry. That's why it's angry.
Come here. There you go. Calm yourself down, eh? That's it. You better? Sit down. Thank you. There we go.
Quite the talkative.
She's a gobby shit. Yes. Anyway, yeah. So Rishi Sunak is the current chancellor. He has obviously, everyone's welcoming this, but there are other support for, measures in place. VAT payments, value-added tax by companies, will be deferred until the end of June. Interest-free cash grants to small businesses will be implemented. Self-assessment income tax payments for July 2020 will be deferred for 6 months. That's great because, that's actually handy for me because I can at least do my tax return but not start paying it back at any point. Increase in
I think they deferred tax payments for us too.
That's good. Increase in standard universal credit of £20 a week. That's great for those on universal credit. I mean, if you get it, apparently some people can claim it. I don't qualify for obvious reasons. The issue I have with work is even though I can prove I earn enough with loss that I am entitled to it. Apparently the invoices I provide are not sufficient, so I genuinely can't prove it. But in any case, I really shouldn't because I've got YouTube. So I have to be very careful in YouTube videos for the most part and try and make them as ad-friendly as possible. But with people, ow, my nose, thank you, with people not being there to review the videos, I have to be very careful. But at the same time, people want to see stuff. They're not going to want to see stuff that's so ad-friendly, are they? It's a really horrible little edge,
Well, like right now, especially because most of the people who get demonetized on YouTube. Well, I'm sorry, I should rephrase that. Most of the people who are covering news right now about coronavirus are being demonetized.
It's why I've barely covered it. I genuinely, I mean, the only time I went near it, I think I've addressed it in politics, but only in passing. Like a consequence has happened because of it, like Scotland pushing back its independence referendum. For the most part, I don't go near. I may have. I think didn't I touch on it in? I touched on the exhibition of stupid people. Where I sort of in passing, but I don't really, focus on it. That video did okay.
You haven't done like a news thing on it.
No, I don't want to either. I really don't, because I know it'll happen. And okay. I did COVID-19 hits the UK hard. I did one, and I know that got approved for monetization actually because I got the email today. 2 days later, nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. It was demonetized first, then it was reinstated.
Yeah, after it got 8,500 views, which is actually really good. Thank you for all those that actually watched it. I'm very grateful. It's just I can't be bothered. It's really complicated. But anyway, back to what the UK is doing. Let's see. We have also encouraged more social distancing. Every business in my town, especially, has gallons of hand sanitizer everywhere, which is. The keys are not for your teeth. What are you trying to lick? So that's great. If you want to, companies have said they won't take money that's been anywhere near your mouth. So I mean, it's plastic money, but sure, you could just wipe it off. But I get your point. The notes are literally made of plastic, so you can just wipe them down with some disinfectant. If you're that paranoid.
Fucking dip it in bleach.
I mean, if you want to, sure, it would probably still come out pretty good. They're made of that weird polymer. It's pretty damn.
Watch the kids who had eaten Tide Pods be like immune from coronavirus.
That'd be really funny if that was the cure. You must ingest a Tide Pod.
No, you will definitely die. Please don't do that.
Yeah, disclaimer: if you are a retard, please don't do it.
Yeah, that was a joke. It was poorly presented, but it was more of
no, it's fine.
No, that's for the audience. That's for the audience.
Yeah,
not for you.
Oh right, thanks. I would actually have the biggest laugh of my life if the cure was something incredibly simple, like Coke.
I mean, actually, one of the most interesting adjustments to the story that they made recently was that. Apparently, if you have O-type blood, you are more resistant to COVID-19.
Not the boom arm cat.
But if you have A-type blood, you are more susceptible to it. So I guess fuck me, right?
Lol. Sorry, man. Would now be a really bad time. Would it now be a bad time to tell you my blood type's O? Sorry.
So's my dad's.
I like your dad already.
Yeah.
We're O buddies.
O bloodies.
Oh bloodies. Yeah, we're bloods. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're bloods now. Oh.
We're bloods.
that went a bunch of different ways.
Yeah. Fuck you,
That's
Crip.
funny.
Fuck you, Crip. People on restricted diets like vegans are more susceptible. If that's true, that's unfortunate.
What does that mean exactly? When you say like restricted diets like vegans, is that because your body's not creating proteins or something like that?
I know surely there are ways of taking in that kind of stuff. Because I mean, I take supplements. I'm not a vegan, but I take supplements, and there are plenty of them. I have multivitamins. I have what the B complexes, some
Yeah,
zinc,
B12.
zinc.
Yeah.
I take all of that, and it's all pretty good stuff. And yeah, although it's actually this probably does explain that because my sisters and I don't share blood type, which is very strange.
Well, you're an O type, so you are a heavy recessive gene.
Yeah, my sisters always get sick though, so that's interesting to me.
Oh.
Whereas I just, you've heard about it. I like 3-4 hours at most, I'm fine. I think last time I got really, really sick, it was about 6 hours, and I then went to work. Absolutely fine.
It's funny. There was a time last year where I got like hella sick for like 3 weeks straight, and no one else was sick. Just my dumbass was sick, and I had to like take off so much time off of work. I lost like a bunch of saved up vacation time.
Yeah.
And this year, like, I'm fine, and the world is sick.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. And by the way, you're right. It's a really bad joke. I know, Keith. Yeah. I still think Tide Pod thing is funny, but I get the point. It's not. Yeah. How is? Because obviously there is a political thing I did see on Twitter earlier about this in the States. What is the Defense? Something Defense Act. It's a medical thing. He's just.
Defense Protection Act.
Yes,
Like
Trump just announced that apparently. What is this?
Yeah, a couple days ago. So the Defense Protection Act was a Korean War, basically bill that was passed through that gave the executive branch the ability to control consumer enterprise and business in order to produce items that is necessary for the national security of the United States. So basically what that means is, let's say you have a factory.
Yeah.
And your factory makes glass bottles. Well, guess what? Those glass bottles are now going to be changed into vials so that laboratories can continue testing, something like that.
Okay.
They have voted to continue this bill ever since the Korean War when they had passed it originally.
That's a good thing right now, isn't it?
Yes. Now Trump has announced that he is enacting it, but he hasn't acted upon it. Like he hasn't told any company that, hey, you're making this now. That hasn't happened, but he's basically saying that this is in place just in case if shit goes wrong, we're going in.
So somebody did tell me that when I mentioned
production, not prevention. My bad.
Right, when somebody mentioned to me that what was it it would be because if any cures found in the States, it wouldn't ever be able to be exported outside because it'd be stuck in bureaucracy by other like CDC related bodies that would just stop it from going anywhere. Is that true, or would it be a case that this would supersede anything and cure would just be everywhere?
So, I think I'm a little confused at your question.
Okay,
you're saying that anything
right.
created under the Defense Production Act
would
not be exportable?
What I'll say is the tweet I saw that I didn't archive because I was working, I saw it in passing. It indicated that if a cure was found in the States, it would never leave the States, nor would it actually be used in the States, because undoubtedly it'd be stuck under some form of bureaucracy. Does that make sense?
Oh, I disagree with that. I understand it now, yes, but I disagree with that fully.
I wished I had the tweet. I'd have put it on the screen. I would have.
And the reason I say that is because you don't see anybody in Italy with polio, do you?
Nope.
Jonas Salt made that shit in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know where they came up with that. At Emory University, that shit was made. So I don't know where you came up with that one.
I know where I saw it now. It was on a tweet under Trump. That makes more sense
they're
now.
Dumb.
No, it's one of those things where it doesn't matter what he says, somebody will say something negative. I do apologize. It's one of those weird things I remember seeing.
No. I mean, I'm sure it's been a question for some people because there are people out there who still think that the United States, at least in terms of our bureaucracy, is too much involved
Yeah.
with just our general day-to-day activities.
Yeah. Stephen O'Kane. No. I'm not reading that. Well, I have read it. Not aloud, though. You should be ashamed. I've actually got a crap ton of COVID-19 readers doing services at work. Oh, I'm sorry. Enjoy yourself at work, though, Keith. Okay.
You know, so I'm working from home now for the next 2 weeks.
Nice.
Well, kind of nice, but I ended up like my first day was on Friday, so Thursday, so yesterday. And I was sitting at my desk just like I'm doing now. I was working. By the time I got done with work, I was so fucking tired of sitting in the same place.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so frustrating.
I have a strange feeling that it's going to be a bit trickier for me to find stupid because the world's going to be shut up. But I'll find it. It'll be tricky, but I'll find it. I mean, Corona.
I disagree. I think it will be much more pronounced.
Corona is going to be Corona is going to be a bit more tricky to avoid, which I kind of want to avoid. I think people will appreciate that more if I find ways to avoid it with other things. And there are bits here and there I found already for next week I can talk about. That's great. However,
I mean, a couple of things were already streamer related, so you're gonna see a whole bunch more of that.
I did mention during the Twitch stream I did before this that I was considering doing some more streams just on there, just talking with people, just talkie streams, or grabbing a guitar and just trying to learn something during the stream, because I think that could be fun.
Honestly, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm
For a lot of blue collar guys, it's what they're doing. It's like I'm bored as shit. I have nothing to do.
My worry is that because I've been working out a lot more. I don't want to risk putting on weight again, putting on any weight, because I've been doing really well. I'm really sort of enjoying what I was doing. And this is a huge, obstacle, and it's bugging me to know. I'll have to get the exercise bike out of the shed and start using that at least, which I really don't want to.
Yeah, or start doing a bunch of Taibo.
What's that?
Oh, okay, so in, the 70s and 80s, a bunch of VHS, workout at home tapes were really popular.
Right.
And Taibo was one that came out in the 90s, and it was essentially this, martial arts-ish workout tape at home. And the only reason I know about it is because my mom had it. I was 6.
Okay.
And yeah, so I mean, there are always those home workout videos you can go along with.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. I'm not totally against
honestly,
that.
in terms of not putting on weight,
I think it's more the routine, because I have that schedule, and I'm sticking to it. Go for a walk, go to the gym, make videos. And then write notes for the next ones. Right? It's just that was my routine, and obviously other IRL jobs away from that were littered around it. This is how I have to adjust. I don't want to. It bugs me. I hate this. This is where, because of how restrained I am, I'm not going to blame China. But I'm okay with others blaming others for it if they want, but I know why they would want to when you feel so frustrated about something you can't control.
So, honestly, as an American, I blame China. But I don't blame China as much as other countries might. I had this discussion with somebody, and I said, honestly, if there was going to be anybody who was going to be really, really pissed off at China because of withholding information, silencing journalists, putting people in prison for trying to blow the whistle on this thing, it's going to be Italy.
Really?
Italy is going to be furious.
Oh yeah, damn right. Yeah, they have every right to be.
They have been so far hit one of the hardest countries next to, I think it was Iran, and there was another one too. I mean,
there's a rumor today.
China, allegedly, but
there was a rumor today that apparently China has not reported any new cases, and I'm sat here X.
Yeah, you're a fucking liar.
I'm sorry, but no. I mean, Italy's overtaking you in deaths. I'm sorry, but you have to.
Don't trust China. China is asshole. Thank you, Brendan Brown.
I don't condone that. I I don't want to call them liars, but their track record is against them, so it's very hard to trust. And I really struggle with that. And the CCP did hide it, and that's not great. It's really bad, and it's frustrating. It's why it's so why so many people are so frustrated, because that lack of trust. And why lack of trust? You couldn't find a solution, so you were okay just quarantining everyone, and then when it got even more out of control because your quarantine didn't work, you didn't tell us then either. We had to wait for someone else to blow the whistle, who mysteriously passed as well. Come on.
You know what's always confused me about some of these communist countries is that if they were actually more open to the international community, they probably wouldn't be as hated as they are.
So
Now, that's coming from somebody who hates communism at its very baseline. I'm like, China, you could have gotten some brownie points if you were honest.
when I was talking
But
to
no,
my
you had to be a dick.
when I talked to my sisters about this, they said the most obvious thing that I thought about, and that was how will our say when this is fixed, this is all done, how will our world leaders react? What will they do? And their first words were nothing, because they want to trade with China. And I'm like, I'd want an apology.
I think Italy's going to go to war with them.
I'm okay with that. I think Italy deserves an apology.
I honestly think they will, because the Chinese won't apologize to them, and Italy is going to take such a brutal hit that they're just going. I mean, we saw what happened when several countries in the past 50 years were ever backed into a corner, and we saw them get really, really trigger happy.
So I think there'll be a reason the Italians will be stopped. First of all, they're members of the EU, so the EU will intervene in some manner to stop them because they want to trade with China. I think they'll stop, and I think they'll stop them. But then with the populist popularity in Italy, while they want to remain in the EU, if the EU don't stand with them, I can see them also considering leaving the EU because the EU won't stand up for them. Sanctions could happen on the EU's part if the EU care enough to protect their nations and the integrity of their nations. But it depends on whether or not they want to trade enough. And then obviously the other countries that could stop them would include the UK and the US, who may well just say, yeah, no, just hold your horses, we might get some money out of this.
Brandon, the only thing bigger than communist Chinese money is money gained in war. That's just in general.
I don't think Italy will go to war. I know they'll want to go to war, though. I mean,
China has nukes. Yes, they do.
Yeah, but Italy's shaped like a boot. No one wants to nuke that.
Yeah. And also, you think that if a pandemic sweeps the world and kills off, let's just say worst case scenario, that let's go with some 40% of cases as of right now end up with death. You don't think that people are going to say the amount of blood on your hands is going to be equal to at least one nuke?
10 million plus million customers disappear in China telecom data reveals. Oh, grain of salt, Skog, definitely. Yep.
I don't know. I have very little patience in general. So I imagine if a world leader watched a country through sheer negligence or malintent, either way, not inform my country that there was a disease that could potentially cost me more lives than I could save, then I think that I would be really fucking pissed, and war would definitely be an option. And it wouldn't be like, hey, NATO, we're asking you to go to war. It's more like, hey, NATO, we're going to war. Fuck off.
I think there's a few
if you have
chances.
A question, you can bring back our people.
Yes, so there are a few things I think would be explored. I think it's definitely go to the UN as well at some point, some kind of Security Council, which would undoubtedly be then vetoed by China. I believe they have a seat in the council anyway. But that's not, if there's no accountability, there has to be accountability once this is resolved. There has to be. And
The
I know
international community fails all the time.
if they fail on this, it's going to make them look at. That's just, I don't know. No, I can't say what will happen. I don't think anything will happen, but I think just generally that's going to alienate even more people. China has to be, let's say China's responsible, the country has to be held to account through some manner, and the Italians certainly need to be sated in some manner. I would assume they will not be. They don't want rice, so don't bother sending them that. But by all means, send them all the tea if you'd like, or just give them something. Does the UN?
I may just be
right,
pessimistic.
Brandon, it doesn't. I don't know if it requires a unanimous vote, but I know that some countries, because of distrust, like for example the airstrike in Syria on chemical weapons caches, which proved to be nothing. There was a vote on the Security Council and Russia vetoed it. Now, Russia were right to veto it because there was no weapons or anything there at all. There were no chemical weapons. But they didn't veto it because of that. They vetoed it because they're allies with Syria. Not because of anything else. And obviously there's no trust with Russia in the first place, or Assad, or China. It's quite astonishing how little people are willing to trust each other. I can't imagine why. It's a mystery.
Probably because they all see themselves in each other.
It's possible.
Ooh, that's really deep.
It is. It is.
The thing is, I may just be pessimistic.
Nothing wrong with pessimism.
Or I might just be nihilistic. Either way, right now we are facing a massive crisis unlike anything that anyone has seen in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Because even the Spanish flu didn't become this bad. And also totally didn't also start in China. We're just going to point that one out. But it was a much lesser form, so they were able to acquire...
Wasn't it only called the Spanish flu because someone in... was it a king of Spain or something got it or something?
Because Spain got hit like a truck.
Yeah, that was the only reason it got called that. I remember... I heard that... I only know that because of Sophane, actually, where he pointed out things like people's misunderstanding of SARS, sorry. They thought it came from South Africa, and no, it came from America.
You said realistic wrong, Shrubs. Yeah, I mean... It's fair.
Bite.
No, because when I was saying nihilistic and pessimistic, I said realistic wrong. And I'm like, I mean, I guess. But the thing is, I have a supreme distrust of most of the nation's governments. I know the people don't want to be involved. The people want to just get on with their lives, spend their time with their kids, their families, their loved ones, and do what they love. That's really what a people of a country wanted.
So I just want to address one thing in the chat. I want to address Pool of Zenda. Spanish flu started in the US. There are rumors that the first wave did hit a bunch of military camps. Yes, by late 1917. Yes, but there's also evidence it started in England. It genuinely has a number of contentious sources. I know my history a little bit.
Almost like Spanish flu was in a time where we didn't have the internet, so we couldn't catalog shit.
Yeah, I'll be honest, even if stuff's catalogued now, people lie. It just doesn't mean anything. We need animuses.
Someone has it cataloged correctly. We just might not.
Yeah, it's probably one of those OCD guys that can't go outside. They have their newspapers all lined up in the right order.
Or he's got a wall full of newspapers and he's just got all the fucking lines drawn with the yarn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway, yes, so there's contention on the Spanish flu. I get the point, though. It's just, he's American. He doesn't like China.
I would love to like China. China doesn't like us.
It's probably because you're so vastly different.
Well, I mean, we've had general distrust because our cultures are different, but also both countries have been remarkably racist to one another.
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't want to say it. I wanted it to come from you because that's
America was very cruel to the Chinese.
Yeah, I I know. History is not on anyone's side at all, really, is it? And it has a nasty way of infecting, unironically, how people now deal with each other at a time when you need to work together. I mean, how
Right.
did
And what's
China react
interesting,
when everyone knew about this? Did China give anyone a live culture? No, they had to get them
no,
themselves.
and then they blamed the United States.
Yeah, and then the news articles start coming out saying the world has to apologize to China for the attacks of Chinese people. I will say, anyone who attacks someone for being Chinese, you're a retard if you're attacking them just because they're Chinese. You really are. And I'll use the word retard over and over again because that's what you are if you are attacking someone just because of their nationality.
Oh, disgruntled kid. And do you see Trump burn that reporter? Yes.
Wang
Okay,
away. Go
so
on. Go on. Go on.
For your context, it's beautiful.
My pants are off.
It goes. Do you think that calling it the Chinese coronavirus is racist? And that was basically the question. And China goes, well, no,
Hang on. No, you said China.
from China.
You said China said.
I said, oh, I'm sorry. A reporter asked that question,
Yeah, and
and
Trump said, yeah.
to Trump, and Trump said, no, I don't think it's racist at all. It came from China.
So I saw a lot of people as you, yeah, that's to be fair, it's a valid point. Then I saw the okay, so I will now say I have to bring up Sophane. Him and another person were arguing over semantics over words, whether or not they could mean the same thing when they in a thesaurus do mean the same thing, but they're
What?
different words.
What
And it was all
argument like that?
it was
No
all
way.
it was all related to this because he then put out the tweet saying how it is racist to say that, and I tend to disagree because I don't believe it is racist when it comes from it's a legitimate origin, right?
Well, it's also not racist to call Chinese food Chinese food.
No, it's not. But although someone will undoubtedly say that's a false equivalence. No, it really isn't.
Is it?
It's also Chinese isn't a race.
Yeah, it's actually an ethnicity. So that's actually this kind
It's
of
actually
touches
a
on a
nationality,
different
actually.
unfortunate. Yeah, because it touches on a different unfortunate circumstance. Is that Asians in general are being like
What kind of Asian?
slighted. Well, in general, Oriental Asian technically. So your Koreans, your Taiwanese, your Japanese, your Chinese.
You mean Chinese, right? When you said Taiwanese, we don't recognize Taiwan here. They're not real.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. I actually do think they need
Don't
their
worry, you
independence.
guys will work on it. You with your new Brexit deal, you guys might figure out to agree that Taiwan is actually not.
I actually like Taiwan, so don't worry. I support them. Much like I do Hong Kong's independence.
Same. But
Fuck you,
know,
China.
it's those kinds of things that I mean, unless you hear them speak, do you actually know if they're Chinese? And even still, if they're speaking Mandarin, does that mean that they're Chinese?
Actually, I take it a bit differently. I take the view of, I'm not going to know they're Chinese unless they tell me they're Chinese. Until then, I couldn't care less where you're from.
I mean, I could use context clues, like if you have like single syllable last names, that's usually indicative of
Is it?
Chinese.
I didn't know that. I still
like Chu, Wu are usually Chinese.
Flu.
Japanese usually have multiple syllables.
Okay. It's just one of those things I don't really, I don't really think about it because it's not really I don't consider it the most an important factor, if that makes sense. But I do get the
See,
point.
I love Chinese history because I love the dynastic China. It's such an interesting time in history, so I know a lot about
They've
early China.
Oh, really?
And then Japan and all the terrible things that they did to each other.
Yeah, they're not fans of each other, are they?
No, not so much. Japan didn't have much on them for quite some time, and then they did.
Yeah, get wrecked, China. I like Japan.
And then China got back at them. It was a lot. There was a lot that happened. That whole like little snippet of the world has been through some shit.
I do have to ask a question. And Puluzenda's right. I don't blame the people of China. I would never do that, and I assume most people don't. Does China actually have a government? Because I thought it was just like a supreme leader, and everyone else was just a monkey.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they totally have a government.
Didn't he make himself like leader for life or something now, though?
He's president for life.
Yeah, that's not. No,
That's not how that works.
no, that's
You know,
you've warped, you perverted the word president.
exactly. Interestingly enough, right before all of this exploded, and I
Yeah.
mean exploded to the point where no one stopped, everyone paid less attention to international politics. Russia came out with new amendments to their constitution that said that basically in those like 12 new additions that they were going to violate international law.
Oh, really?
But no one's been able to do anything about it because we've kind of been busy.
Well, perhaps if we're lucky, this COVID-19, or it could be another name of a really bad beer, that virus. If we can get rid of it, if we can fix this soon enough, then people can focus on everything else. Because this pushes back other things actually. Because I should put it on the screen for everyone to see. Where is it? That's the meme. The chief negotiator for the EU, Michel Barnier, has tested positive for coronavirus. Negotiations have had to be,
Boy.
but we have until December 31st to negotiate this. There need to be 200 people in a room. It's not happening. So an extension is more than likely now going to have to happen.
Oh, you guys need to make quorum. Oh shit.
This is so frustrating.
You can't have quorum in a room.
No.
Oh no. You can't. Oh,
I
that's so
just want. Guinness is not a beer. I've had this before. It's not. It's a draft. Not even a draft. It's something else. It's not a beer. Although someone pedantically say
It's
they're
liquid
all
bread.
they're all forms of beers. Shut up.
It's liquid bread.
Sure.
And it
Thank
fills
you.
you up just as much as a loaf of bread.
Thank you for being here, Paul Zenda. I really appreciate it. So negotiations are going to be slow if they happen at all. It's going to be video chat could work, Stephen O'Kane. Unlikely though, really unlikely. And I don't think Michel Barnier is going to be doing much of the negotiating.
The only reason why I don't think video chat won't work is because they're all fucking boomers who don't know how to install Windows
Yeah,
10.
a lot of them are as well. You are right, by the way, to reference all other ways that they could do their jobs, and I'm sure some of them are exploring this. Undoubtedly so. Boris more than likely has to. That's great. Still, not going to be able to function in the way anyone thinks it could happen. For example, PMQs can't happen. It just can't. It can't. Any parliamentary debate, if it happens, it will have to have minimal people present, meaning the debates will be flat. It's just not. It's not gonna go anywhere. This is going to be slow.
It's not a useful time. Time spent.
Right. I want to see. This virus is so irritating. I really want this to be dealt with quickly because I don't want it to be drawn out like Brexit. It's just going to cause isolation, more isolation, social distancing, which is funny for people who have been trying to be socially programmed to be more near each other for years. It's just going to cause more anxiety. It's going to make things difficult. People are going to be on edge. It's not going to make things move forward. Politics especially. The news is going to go flat. I would very much like things to go forward because, not just for selfish reasons, but also because we don't do well when we're shut up by force. When we're made to...
No, we don't.
No, we need to be... If it happens, it has to happen naturally. But it more than likely won't anyway. Because we like to...
So did you...
Go on.
Did you get a chance to see my video yesterday?
It didn't appear in my sub feed. Did you put it on the Discord server?
Yeah, I did.
I'll watch it after this.
But basically, it talks about how people in New York City, thank you very much, are hooking up during coronavirus quarantines. And it goes into this long conversation about how people have been selectively choosing their partners in this age of corona. And it's been very interesting. You're aware that millennials have one of the worst birth rates of any generation in recent history, yeah?
I am now, yes.
Okay, well, that is a thing. Millennials aren't having kids. Except
Oh.
now that they're all stuck in a room for 2 weeks with each other.
Hey, they might become boomers.
I'm not saying that I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised.
If it does happen, it does happen. I'm
Mm.
kind of jealous. It's just me. Great.
Well,
Oh, I
oh
need it.
hey, so I just found my fiance just handed me a article, and as per the South Carolina governor, no more than 3 people are allowed in a group outdoors. You can be arrested if you congregate unless authorized or in their homes in groups of 3 or more, and to refuse to disperse upon order of a law enforcement officer.
Could that be a nightmare where I live? Because technically, there's 6 people in this 3-bedroom house. Because you got my
They're
my
gonna
two
get shot.
sisters. Yeah, they're gonna get shot.
The cops are gonna get shot.
They will. They will.
They're
Especially with
gonna
the
try and
increase.
disperse somebody,
Imagine the increase
and
in
they're not gonna
sales as
want to deal
well.
with it.
Because I saw the panic buying increase gun sales in your country by quite a lot, in fact.
I may or may not have taken advantage of that.
I think all I bought was a scoop for my protein shakes. I'm exciting.
But no, because this gets into a very very complex argument with the United States.
Does it?
We have a right in our First Amendment to peaceably gather. We have a right to engage with one another in public and gather.
Do you think this is one of those very few times where there's a legitimate reason why that has to be shelved, or do you think this is dangerous enough that it would then lead to others using it as an excuse or a stepping stone for precedents to then attack other rights?
Both.
Yeah, I figured you'd
I
say
do
that.
think in this case, yes, it has merit.
Yeah.
However, I also see where certain people will take advantage of this.
Right.
And I'm not so sure that the vast majority of people, by the way, in California and New York, where gun sales were actually more prevalent,
in very
and
strict
than
states.
in yes, than in red states. Go figure. Maybe
That's
they all finally realize that there is a reason to have a gun. Um,
I can see that ending well, especially those because they're
oh,
already they're very they're very restrictive on what you can and can't do, where you can and can't carry. What do they hope to achieve? And the reason, by the way, I think the red states didn't increase as much is probably because they've got the guns already.
well, you probably saw ammo sales a lot more in red states than you did guns. Most people in red states already had their guns. Now they're just buying more bullets just in case.
Yeah. In case they need to go to war with the government for infringing on their rights. Although I think this is a very
Or they
weird
have
one.
to defend their property.
True. This is a very weird circumstance because, as you said, that it's a case that if they did it, they'd set a precedent. But I understand at the same time why they would have to say something like that. How do you enforce something like that anyway without getting civil suits everywhere?
So there are ways that the government in the United States has a way to temporarily restrict your rights.
How?
And, well, the most commonly known and the not yet implemented is martial law.
Martial law.
Now, of course, that is the extreme in which you have no rights anymore. They can temporarily restrict a lot of your rights. And honestly, the idea of probable cause against illegal search and seizure is an infringement on your rights. Any kind of laws against libel and slander is technically an infringement on your First Amendment rights.
Right.
I mean, basically, the United States has a lot more exceptions to your rights because they needed to create a functioning society. Because if everything was in totality, then of course everyone would do everything then they wanted, and ideally it would all work out, but functionally it wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to create essentially a framework around these ideas to make sure they worked.
Yes.
Now, that means that sometimes your rights will have to be forfeit for another thing. The Patriot Act was an example of this after 9/11. Um,
What
and
is the Patriot Act?
the Patriot Act was a piece of legislation that was enacted under President George W. Bush after 9/11 to basically increase the amount of surveillance that was able to be done um, on American people for suspected terrorism. That was the largest part of that bill, but a lot of other clauses in it also allowed them to strip you of your rights if you were suspected of terrorism. They could hold you indefinitely if you were suspected of terrorism. A lot of things were in the Patriot Act that basically took away your ability to have rights in this country.
Oh dear.
And it was signed pretty unanimously at the time because they just wanted to exchange freedom for security.
Did it work?
Somewhat.
Okay. It sounds like it has massive holes in
at,
it.
At
but
what cost? At what cost
Yeah.
is really the question.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. So,
That's where a lot of questions about Guantanamo Bay come in.
that place that never shut down. Yeah, it's a real theme park now, isn't it? Okay, I guess I have a few more. One or two more questions on this then. What do you think is going to happen in the US over the next couple months?
I'm expecting to see more states start cracking down on people.
Yeah.
And there are some, there are some states that are working pretty well. A lot of the rural areas are not really as affected by Corona because, let's just use Kansas as an example. A lot of Kansas is farmland.
Mm-hmm.
So you have miles apart from your nearest neighbor.
Fortunate.
Well, as long as you don't have to go to the store, you're not at risk.
Yeah.
So they don't have to restrict you as much.
Okay.
Places like New York and California, though, should expect to see some major restrictions.
I know that in Europe, some countries have introduced extreme curfews and measures to the point where if you're seen in public and you don't have a legitimate reason to be out, you'll get a £300 fine. That's converted from euros. I know that other countries will, slap you with multiple fines. They will arrest you, and I get it. I really do, but I don't know. I don't believe this benefits as much as people think it does, and I don't think
I can't say for certain.
I'm dead against it. It's sorry, but isolating doesn't. No. There's something in my head that just doesn't click, and I've yet to figure it out yet.
See, I'm stuck between the idea that, well, I don't have a good solution.
No, I don't.
So
I don't
usually,
either. But it doesn't mean that this is a good idea at all.
When I criticize the government, it's because I have a better way that I can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't necessarily criticize them because I don't have a better idea.
There are some no, why it bugs me. There are some experts within certain virus-related fields who have pointed out that social distancing will not work with this, and they've been told this. The governments have been told, and they're still saying, well, it's the only idea we have. No, you have no idea. That's what you have. You're doing something else that's actually really stupid. But I get the point, and Skog makes it there in the chat about not overwhelming the NHS. I get that in the more densely populated areas especially. I really get it. But I still don't think isolating is the right idea. I
don't know, though. I don't know what else to do.
No.
Because if this thing, first of all, it can live on certain surfaces for like 9 days.
That's impressive.
On stainless steel, it lasts for like 3. But on like some wood or porous surfaces, it can last up to 9 or more.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you stop that? And especially because let's not even talk about the fact that your clothes can hold so much shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm very much aware, Skog, of the issue with Italy. It's actually, yeah, not great. None of it is.
No, Italy is absolutely screwed. So
No,
is Iran though, but Iran hasn't been talking a whole.
they won't though, will they? They're another one of the
Well,
countries that.
before this got crazy, 1 in 10 of their parliament members was infected. What
Right.
was that, like 2 weeks ago? We talked about
Was that the guy? Was that the person? I got an article on it. Somebody. I'll go get it quickly. It was. There was an Islamic scholar in Iran, I believe, that said anyone who got coronavirus was Allah's punishment, and then he got coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was doing a televised,
Yeah.
like, "Don't worry, everybody, it'll all be fine." Cough,
Yep.
cough, and
Yep.
then start sweating profusely.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Yeah, that was, and it was the advisor to the prime
Ayatollah?
minister.
Oh,
I guess.
president,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, Ayatollah.
Well,
I
is it?
don't know.
They have
Ayatollah
an
Khomeini.
Ayatollah. Yeah. They have an Ayatollah, but they also have a president or prime minister. One of those two.
That's right. They're a theocracy, but like not always.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I don't know what to say really. I know that actually, I did hear that there was going to be some war going on, but I didn't think Iran would be going.
I don't think Iran can if their advisors are sick.
Maybe they'll have to rehire Ahmadinejad.
Isn't he dead?
Ahmadinejad? No, he's still alive. He's a teacher, I believe.
Oh, okay. I thought he was dead.
Let's have a look. Ahmadinejad. Okay, Ahmadinejad. Okay. Ahmadinejad came up with his face. That does not help. Iranian. Give me.
Shit,
Ahmadinejad.
Arabia.
Okay, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. That's your name. Cool. I'm gonna look.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to spell that. No, he's still alive.
Okay.
Yeah, still alive. He just looks like an old man now. Good to know. Well, those
Well,
eyes
at least he's not dead.
those eyes appear to have sunk further into his head. That's really interesting. I'm gonna stop looking at him now. Carry on.
Necromancy.
Yeah, it might be. Looks more like a demon head master from a TV series now these days. Never mind.
Oh, Jesus.
I think
They raised him.
with the UK, the Prime Minister said he'll take it every month, a month at a time. I'm not okay with this. It's a month. I just can't be asked. I really.
Yeah, but like, what else you got? Shit's changing by the day. I even made
Yeah.
a PSA on that video that I can't keep up. If I did a video every day, I might be able to keep up. But unless I
Yeah.
do a video every day on Corona, I'm not able to keep up with all the news.
No, I can't keep up with the Corona stuff. If the Prime Minister says they'll review it in a month, I'm hoping that's a very relaxed term for we'll take it day by day, and if something really drastically changes, yeah, great. Because I'm hoping some of those drug trials go successfully. I really do. I heard rumors about it in the States and other places. I hope someone is successful and that it's resolved quickly, so people can start blaming others.
Nervous.
Why's that?
I got really nervous when they said that they were gonna skip animal trials and go straight to humans. I had made the joke. I was like, "This is how you get zombies. Don't do it."
It's possible, but if I can understand why they're desperate enough because of how fast this has progressed. I'm sorry you're having to miss one of your transplant checkups, Joe. That's actually truly terrible. Yes. Fingers crossed then. I figured we're done here. I can't really. I genuinely can't think of anything else to moan about on this at the moment.
No, honestly, but like, guys in the chat, keep us informed of what's going on with you guys. If you're in, Meg's Discord, let us know what's going on with you guys, because we're not gonna be able to get news as well. I mean, that's more or less just the truth of the situation. Everyone's stuck inside, which means that your personal story is going to be the only way you get it out is by telling it.
I agree.
So if something goes on with you guys, I know a lot of the world, whether in the United States or Germany, France, etc. You know, we have Twitter, we have our comment section. Tell us what's going on with you guys, because otherwise, we're not gonna know.
Agreed.
And we want to take care of you guys.
Yeah. I am going to do one little thing before we finish, because I'm a good person. I'm going to shill Trups' video in the chat. Go watch it if you haven't already. I'm going to spend most of the weekend now on my computer, because it's no computer day tomorrow, but screw it. I'm going to start working on Content Constable instead. Is there anything you have planned?
I don't know yet. I'm tempted to go and brave the outside world to go buy some non-essential essentials.
Okay.
Um, just because I've eventually run out of some things.
Yeah.
So.
Well, fingers crossed you are successful and you don't get arrested or anything for being whatever it is you are.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll be back here next week with something a bit more upbeat and I would argue better prepared. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I think we're gonna go then. Say goodnight, Trups.
Good night, Trups.
I was so happy. I love it.